Bet horse racing on DRF Bets. We'll match your first deposit of $200. Get free expert picks and past performances, plus weekly cash back. All from Daily Racing Form, the most trusted name in horse racing.
Hi everyone, the 4-week Del Mar Fall Meet began on Friday, and we're going to talk about a couple races that will be run on Saturday. And in a little bit of a deviation from routine, we're going to first talk about a maiden race prior to talking about the Kathryn Crosby Stakes. Kathryn Crosby is the featured 7th race, but before we talk about that turf mile for fillies and mares, I want to talk briefly about a race that might be the most highly anticipated race on the Saturday card. It's race number 4, and it's a sprint for 2-year-old maiden fillies, and it features the career debut of the highly regarded Warfront filly, Teena Ella. Why is Teena Ella so highly regarded? Well, she's by Warfront, she's training fast, but more importantly, she was produced by none other than Beholder, Hall of Famer Beholder, inducted into the Hall of Fame earlier this year. And this is Beholder's 3rd foal, Teena Ella is. Let's take a look at the field for race number 4. And I would expect Teena Ella, number 4, to be very well supported. Making her career debut for trainer Richard Mandella, Juan Hernandez is aboard. Hernandez has worked her in the morning, Teena Ella, and I caught wind of this filly earlier this year before she even arrived in California. The word from Spendthrift Farm is that Beholder's 3rd foal was the goods, and that was, they were referring to Teena Ella, a daughter of Warfront. Her first 2 foals did not really pan out, or at least not yet. One of them has been retired. QB1 was an Uncle Mo colt turned into a gelding. He retired winless in 4 starts. He's being retrained for a second career as an event horse or a pleasure horse. Her second foal, Beholder's second foal, is a Curlin filly by the name of Karen with an I. She's 0 for 2, but she's in training with Mandella, and it's a little too early to draw a line completely through Karen with an I, but it's not too early to start talking about this very fast 2-year-old filly, Teena Ella. The 3rd foal out of Beholder, and you remember Beholder, right? She won 11 grade 1s. You know, it's funny, earlier this year, when Flightline won the Pacific Classic by more than 19 lengths, I couldn't help thinking to myself as Flightline was drawing away that, hey, I think we've seen this race before. And in a way, we kind of have. So let's go back in time to the 2015 Pacific Classic and Beholder in really a performance for the ages. This is Beholder taking on the boys and winning the Pacific Classic by more than 8 lengths. She turned it into a romp. It wasn't quite as fast as Flightline, but wow, this was an amazing performance by Beholder back in 2015. She won 11 grade 1. She won Breeders' Cups, 3 of them, I believe. And now she is settled in as a broodmare at Spendthrift Farm. And her filly, Teena Ella, should be very fun to watch run in race number 4 on Saturday at Del Mar. As for betting purposes, I doubt that Teena Ella will offer any value, and she has to beat a couple of Bob Baffert trained fillies making their career debut, number 3, Woody, and number 7, Feza. But number 4, Teena Ella, Saturday race 4, should be very fun to watch. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the stakes race on Saturday. And by the way, the Saturday card is actually very interesting. In addition to Teena Ella, there are a couple of grass routes for 2-year-olds, a one other than for 2-year-old fillies, and a maiden race, race number 9, open to either gender, mostly colts and geldings. But 3 very good 2-year-old races on Saturday, including the career debut of Teena Ella in race number 4. The feature race on Saturday is the $75,000 Kathryn Crosby Stakes. It's a turf mile for fillies and mares. This will be the 7th running of the Kathryn Crosby at Del Mar. Favorites have yet to win this race. I know it's a small sample, only 6 times this race has been run. No favorite has won this race yet. That very well could change this week on Saturday in race number 7. Let's take a look at the field for the Kathryn Crosby. It's a restricted turf mile, and by restricted, it's restricted to fillies and mares that have not earned $60,000 by winning a stakes race other than Cowbred at a mile or more since April 1st. Basically, it eliminates any class droppers who have recently won graded stakes. And it's an evenly matched field, and it typically does get an evenly matched field. Maybe that's one reason why favorites have yet to win the Kathryn Crosby. This is a race that has some of the winning payouts, by the way. In 2019, the winner paid $67. In 2018, $39. In 2016, $28. And in 2015, a $36 winner. So it's the type of race that has produced long shot winners in the past. I doubt that's going to happen this time around, but hey, you never know. It's a race that has a history of long shots. To me, the favorite and the horse to beat is number 5, Burgoo Alley, for reasons that we'll explain in a couple minutes. She faces a very good shipper by the name of Bipartisanship, and we'll talk about her in a minute as well. By the way, the last 3 winners of the Kathryn Crosby were all shippers. Bipartisanship falls into that category as a shipper who she ran her last start was at Keeneland. Okay, that's the field. Burgoo Alley is, I think, the horse to beat. Let's talk about the shipper. Her name is Bipartisanship. Trainer Graham Motion is going to be active at the Del Mar meet. He's based on the East Coast. He has a horse in on Friday in the Let It Ride Stakes named Script, and he has 3-year-old whose name escapes me at the moment. Great preparation, Free. Will be running in the Hollywood Derby. That was the horse that ran second in the Twilight Derby earlier at Santa Anita. But on Saturday, Motion and his assistant Alice Clapham send out Bipartisanship. Bipartisanship is a stakes winner, and she had been off for more than 7 months when she made her comeback recently at Keeneland. And we're going to pick up the field going into the far turn. It was a 2 other than at Keeneland, and that's Bipartisanship in the yellow silks, mid-pack, 4 wide. Okay, she's 4 wide going into the far turn. That's after being 4 wide on the first turn. You cannot win a grass route by being wide on every single turn. I'm not going to fault jockey Louis Saez. She broke from post 12, but she just never got in. That's Bipartisanship on the far outside. And instead of packing it in, she gets bumped pretty good at the head of the lane. Instead of packing it in, she's going to switch leads here, and she's actually going to finish very well for 5th, beaten only 3 lengths. She's going to switch leads eventually. There she goes. And she will actually finish very well. 5th by 3 lengths, making her first start in 7 months, wide on every single turn. That's Bipartisanship. On Saturday in the Kathryn Crosby, she makes her second start back. Juan Hernandez is aboard. And Bipartisanship, this time she breaks from post number 4. Unlikely to be caught as wide as she was in the previous allowance comeback race at Keeneland. I think Bipartisanship is a huge contender in the Kathryn Crosby. I don't think that's a real unique opinion. She should be very well backed. But the horse to beat is the filly dropping in class from a series of graded stakes. Burgoo Alley has been campaigning in the shadow of stablemates Going Global and Going to Vegas all season long. Last time out, she was on the lead for some crazy reason. I think they thought there was no pace. It turned out there was pace, and she didn't get the type of trip that they envisioned. The race was won by her stablemate Going Global. But we're going to go back in time to a year ago when Burgoo Alley scored her first and only graded stakes win. It was in the Autumn Miss Stakes, and she rallied from behind this day. Burgoo Alley did under Umberto Rispoli. She rallied from 5th. This was a 1-mile grass race restricted to 3-year-old fillies, and she won it kind of nice. Burgoo Alley did. Now, what happened to her since then? Well, basically, she just turned out to be not quite good enough for the races in which she was entered. They tried her in the American Oaks. That was an off-turf race run on the main track. She completely misfired. Ran again in next time out in the Megahertz in early January, misfired again. And so D'Amato gave her basically a good portion of the year off, brought her back in summer at Del Mar, 4th in the grade 2 Yellow Ribbon, 5th in the grade 2 John Mabie, and last time out, 4th in the grade 2 Goldakova. That was at Santa Anita. And Burgoo Alley was on the lead that day, and she just got overpowered late in a race won by Going Global. Now, on Saturday, for the first time in more than a year, Burgoo Alley is in a race in which she actually figures. She did not win any of those graded stakes races, but she wasn't expected to. She was a high odds starter in most of those races. Saturday, she's in the right spot. Flavien Prat takes over, and we know how Prat rides and how he is able to get horses to relax. He's got a great touch. Pratt does. He also knows when to save ground, and he knows when to pull the trigger. And Burgoo Alley should get a good trip, sitting just off the pace. I'm not really sure about the pace scenario in here. It could be relatively slow. We got some rain early this week in California. Also not sure how the turf course will play. I would imagine if it plays like in seasons past, in fall seasons past at Del Mar, that closers will do quite well. You can win on the front end, but by and large, most grass races in fall at Del Mar are won from behind. Another come from behind her we should at least mention, and the only reason she's eligible for this is because when Warren's Candy Girl won the Solana Beach in summer, that was a race that was restricted to state-breds. State-bred stakes wins do not count against you in the conditions for the Kathryn Crosby. In the Solana Beach, it was in summer. We're going to take a look at the stretch run of the Solana Beach, and Warren's Candy Girl coming back in 1 week. She scored a decisive one other than allowance win 1 week earlier. Trainer Craig Lewis wheeled her right back, and she fired again. And she wore down Eddie's New Dream to win the Solana Beach by a head. In hindsight, 5-1 was really quite a big number on Warren's Candy Girl. She misfired in her next start at Santa Anita, but on Saturday, Warren's Candy Girl is returning to the Del Mar turf course, on which she scored all 4 career wins. Now, Warren's Candy Girl is under consideration for the Red Carpet Stakes on Thanksgiving. That's a 1 3/8 turf marathon. So be aware that there is a potential that she comes out, or she could run on Saturday in the Kathryn Crosby. And if she does run, she is a contender returning to her preferred turf course where she scored 4 wins. Ultimately, it's all about Burgoo Alley and bipartisanship, maybe Warren's Candy Girl in the Kathryn Crosby. And if Teena Ella runs like she has trained in the morning when she makes her career debut in race number 4, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but Teena Ella is quick. She is fast from the gates. If Teena Ella runs as well as expected in race 4, we will be talking a lot more about her down the line. Daughter of Warfront, produced by Beholder. In the meantime, it's all about Burgoo Alley and bipartisanship in the Kathryn Crosby. Teena Ella in the maiden race. I'm Brad Freed. I'll talk to you next time.